Asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullahi wabarakaatu. Insha allah qaybtan kalena waa in yariis waxaan ku jiraa dhinaca Ethereum technical analysis and haddii Ethereum la fiiriyo I'm not looking at BTC waxaaseeto so just right now historysa waxaa fiirinoyaa Ethereum. One really quick thing is before Ethereum naftarkiisa inta la gelin waxaa rabaa inaan fiirino Ethereum slash BTC ratio. If you look at it in the past, cabaar inta bilan lasoo dhaafay since last year 2021. This is so crazy. This is why I always say lacagta way kala wareegtaa from BTC to Ethereum to some altcoins and then waxay kusoo noqonaysaa BTC. Since 2021, Ethereum slash BTC ratio 80% ayuu usoo dhacay. So daadashadaaneeta ay soo daadanaysay haddii aan isku fiirinahayn waqtiga hadda ma fiirinayay but I'll inshallah do it some other video. Waxaad arkaysaa BTC iyo Ethereum pricekiisa haddii laisku soo dhigo BTC was going up when Ethereum was going down. So there are times BTC wax yariisoo soo daadanayo Ethereum si xun u daadanaa. BTC kor oo aadaa Ethereum adiga meesha iska fadhisaa and all it's doing is just going up and down, up and down, up and down. So waxaan wuxuu ku tusinayaa Ethereum slash BTC ratio. So daadashadeeda has been tremendous and waxayna u badan tahay always waxay u badan tahay the period oo lagu jiro slashing interest rate. No holding interest rate ka lagu daraayo Fed Jerome Powell markay imaadaan Fed ka imaadaan interest rate hike ka dhacdo Ethereum loses more than BTC. So that's why you see daadashadaneed ee soo daadatay was tremendous. And if you go back in time aad aragtid meeshuu ka soo noqday complete bottom out muusan sameynin. Previous lowgiisa muusan soo taabanin between these two ranges. Rangekan ma soo dhawaanin at least wax yariis kor ka soo kacay. So kacidaaneed oo meeshaan oo ka soo noqday it's great. That tells you right now that Ethereum BTC ratio is increasing, meaning Ethereum is outperforming BTC alaga wada macnaheeda. Not as a price ahaan ma laga hadlaayo oo BTC waxay ka soo kacday 15,000 waxay imaaday 100,000. Waxaa laga hadlayaa price ratio-giisa percentage yariisa soo kacday lacagta waxay u badanaysaa Ethereum. So outperformance ayaa ka dhacayso as far as percentage increase and this is how you check it. Inta waa meesha laga fiiriyo that at least that pullback it's giving Ethereum some time to breathe. Dhinaca weekly kan ka hadloonaa. So let's go back to daily. You have very good, at least waxaa haysataa some kind of bullish momentum oo ka soo dhacay some really good waxa la yiraahdo candles waaweyn or engulfing candle and so forth. So this huge candles come back waa fursad weyn ay u ahayd. Right now coming back to some kind of a daily resistance kaaseeto and haddii aa fiirinaysid you're looking at waxa la yiraahdo ascending triangle. So tan la sugaayo waa this breakout. This is a good breakout haddii uu ka dhaco the Ethereum BTC ratio. You want this breakout to happen sooner than later. So waqti ahaan it has been very long period oo kusoo jiray almost 4 years oo soo daadanayay and so kicideeda wuxuu soo kacay since this year April. So haddii aad ka maqnid Ethereum for the last 4 years oo aad soo go-aansatay inaad soo gadatid April ama May of this year faa'iida ku jirta. You are in a profit. Even right now haddii aad dhahdid waa gadanayaa it will still give you a profit back but the amount of profit aad ka helaysay it's not going to be that huge. And right now we're looking at almost 30 days oo meeshan ku jira, depending on when Fed Jerome Powell ay imaan doonaan, and they go from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. Bahalkaneto, it's gonna fly. That's something I could testify to. When at the 2017, 2021, and it's gonna repeat itself again when it can, unless something crazy happens in the market or laga soo celiyo, with whatever you know macroeconomic ka hadlayna. If macroeconomic haddii xumaato, um, adduunyada dagaal ka dhaco ama whatever, uh, JP soo baxdo ama bankiga oo dhaco, some bank collapses, and there's some kind of a negative news that would affect these technical hore u soo daadanaya. It's not going to go anywhere. But keep in mind, this is just saying the ratio, it's looking good right now. So noqoshada sheeto, all you want is a breakout. Um, you follow the momentum ka la soco and follow the path of the momentum. If the momentum is an upward, just stick to the upward momentum. Don't look at a downward. Shortka akradinaysid compared to longs, shortka khasaaradeedaas cadan camal badan. Yes, you can find some shorts here and there, but not very a lot. And if we go to CME futures, hadhowta waxaa ka hadlaynaa open interest. I think one of my previous videos waxaan ka soo hadlay these gaps oo aan dhahay waa lagu soo noqon doonaa no matter what, and wuu kacay waa lagu soo noqday, and these gaps got filled. However, soo noqoshadu soo noqonaya inta wuxuu kasoo bilaabay another gap, which is between the 2,800 all the way to 3,000. As a resistance, 3,000 Caseto, it's more like waxa la yiraahdo numerical resistance, not a technical resistance. 3,000 is a numerical resistance. More likely si fiican u dhaafaya ama wax yariis daadasho yariis ayaa kasoo dhacayso. Okay. This is the gaps I'm talking about. So right now, as meesha hadeertaan uu ku fadhiyo, 2,800 Caseto is showing some kind of a resistance. And if you go back to at least 12 hours of urination, you have a very, very, very small gap right here. Or so noqoshadeeda, profit taking at the meeshan ay ka dhacayso, probably you're looking at Ethereum kusoo noqonayso at least the 2,600 or 2,580 to 2,600 Caseto, 650. So this gap, worst case scenario, Ethereum at the sold top, a good re-entry of a long waxay ku noqon doontaa between 2,520 to 2,620, boqolkaas inta u dhexeyso, that range ayay ka noqon doontaa for this gap to be filled and continue. This is an upward momentum. Momentum-ka hala dagaalin, don't fight it. Look for an opportunity of a good pattern aad ka arki kartid so that you can go to a short. So as if this gap gets filled sooner or later, I think the next couple of days, definitely the 3,000 it's coming. 3,000 Caseto, it's not far off. Ethereum kamadero. And if we go to the regular chart without the CME futures Caseto, Afirinero, I try to keep mine as clean as I can. And for some, waxay u tahay as these, if you استعمال the channels or trend lines, this was a good trend line. Trend line Caneto has been respected. Wuxuu u ahay an upward momentum u ahay all this time. It has been respecting that momentum ka dhinaca this channel until it broke this channel and all the way to 1,400 oo kasoo noqonaya, which was another previous support and resistance uu ahay. Solid horizontal lines, very simple way. There's no complication. Iska badbadinaynin. We're not talking about 4 hours. We are talking about long period. Waqti dheer ayaan ka hadalnoonaa. Waxaan ka hadloonaa weeks and months up to even year. So from the time oo soo daadanayay oo 4,000 laga soo celinayo waxay ahayd March of 24 last year ka waran. last year. We are talking about almost waxay qaadatay 399 days oo ku imaada meeshaan before it even came down to break the channel, the trend line kaneeto, the respected trend line kaas oo wuxuu kusoo qaatay almost 336 days ayuu soo jabsaday. Even if soo jabsadaan aa aragtid oo you buy whatever aa kasoo gashay aa ka raadinaysa faa'iido, this would have been at least an exit. This pullback kaneeto or bullish trying to come in and put in some liquidity. And when you can see the volume, it's very, very high. Volume and liquidity kalasar. The liquidity is the distance of price change from Balkan 2,800 all the way to 2,100. That is a huge liquidity. Marka laga hadlayo liquidity kaaseeto. But however, is the volume kaaseeto mala socda is the question. The volume is the amount of shares oo la gadooyo. So you want to see a volume compared to liquidity. So when you have a very high and huge volume, la socoto with the liquidity, it's a good indication for you to say, hey, bahalkaneeto waa ina aniga aan ka baxo. When you're looking at these two candles, candle kaneeto and this candle itself, has taken a strong bullish buy to try to push the price back up again, but the volume shows you that sell kiisa ayaa badnaay. It was a good exit strategy. Right now, we are coming back again to that resistance trend line kaaseeto waxa u imaanona as a resistance. It's even putting you to that 2,900 or 2,800 resistance ayay u tahay. When it comes to breaking this, sooner or later it would happen. Wuu jibi doonaa. The question is, how long can it survive, or how long oo ku qaado doonta oo meelahan waqtiga it will spend here before it breaks the 4,000. The 3,000 is nothing else than waxa la yiraahdo numerical trend line, numerical resistance, which is just the 3,000. It's just a number. But another resistance is sitting at 3,200 kaaseeto. So between the 2,800, jabsada soo jabsanayo, we are definitely going to see 3,000, and it will easily continue before it gets rejected 3,200 kaaseeto. The biggest resistance line, usugeno, it's right here. It's the 4,000. This 4,000, definitely you are going to see another sell-off kadai. And depending on how much volume ko into ku imaado, your liquidity ko ku imaado na meeshan would give you an indication bahalkaneeto it's going to continue or it will reverse. You can see these candles, they were very strong candles inta ka ahaayeen, very good liquidity, very good volume oo ahaay oo la socotay. However, it didn't break through. Waa laga soo celi. They tried it again, but this was a fake out. They tried it with one huge volume plus one liquidity, not a stepwise. Kan camal oo ahay. They tried it with this. Trying with that, waa laga soo celi. That was the first one. This is the second one. Kii labaad waay. Kii saddexaad. You do not know. You cannot say. Qofku dhihi karo male. It takes 5, 6, 7. Nobody can tell you. But at least waxa u baahan tahay some kind of to say this is a resistance. Waxaad u baahan tahay at least minimum 3 touches before you can say this is a resistance. This is definitely a confirmed resistance of a 4,100 to 4,000 as price ahaan marka la fiirinayo. When is it going to go there? Nobody knows. Gormo imaan doona, waxa ku dhihi doona meeshaas uu imaan doona male. I'm pretty sure that gap sooner or later waa la buuxi doona. So come back to the daily and go back to waxa la yiraahdo the 200 simple moving average. Very simple, and you can see that bahalkaneeto has been struggling. Ethereum has been struggling all this time, has been struggling to break bahalka the 200 simple moving average. It has been struggling. Now it broke out. It definitely needs to hold. It's a bullish momentum one. this is a bullish momentum oo ku jiro dhinaca bullishku hadda iskugu bedelay Ethereum. No bearish. I do not see anything that tells me Ethereum short ku gali karta. Nothing. Everything right now just tells me so daadashadeeda just find another opportunity along ku galaysid. That's what I'm looking at. If you're looking at bahalka la yiraahdo wax la yiraahdo scalping, couple hours or even maybe 1 or 2 day, or at risk management ku sameynaysid, great. But however, short caseto, don't think you're going to hold it for months or even weeks, even normally. So that's a very cautious and high instead of me going short all in. So we definitely have broken out the 2,500. All it needs to hold is that 2,500. Right now, you only need to come back and retest haddii u baahan tahay the 2,500 caseto as far as the 200 simple moving average. You do not want to see ma u baahanid candle weyn soo jabsaday and it holds underneath. That candle with the shares and volume liquidity isla socoto, it's a breakdown. But so long as right now it's holding at that time, dhinaca bullishka ayuu u fadhiyaa. If you use a fib, reer fib aad tahay azaid u isticmaashid, it puts you at least at 2,500 on a 0.25. So this is what you want to see in Ubalkane to hold the 200, hold the 0.236. Don't even test the 0.38 caseto. Don't even test that. And you test the caseto kunoqdo, you want to see a wick down or kanoqonay. I mean, eventually it's going to come down to when is it going to break it and how long is it going to hold. One thing very beautiful iskugu diyaarinayo Ethereum-ka aan ka jeclaaday is the iskugu diyaarinayo. Another thing that it's preparing itself is a head and shoulder. I don't know, possibly it's a question mark. Gacanta midigta ayaa ka dhiman. You can see very clearly meeshaan wuxuu ku noqday a left shoulder aan ka hadlaya meeshaan and a neck, a head ayuu ka imaan. This head, for it to be a validated, head or noqdo, it definitely needs to come back here and get rejected. Waa in laga soo celiyo. If you are preparing for a head and inverse head and shoulder, this is to be your right shoulder or into soo taabtay, which is a confirmed right and a left shoulder. For it to be a head and then go to the right, it has to be rejected from here, come back down, test this channel, maybe even go below it ama waxiris, or even hold here and then go retest. Then meeshana waxa ku haysata your right shoulder. That would make this an explosive move. Dhaqaaqa samee doono, it will be freaking amazing as far as when it comes to longing it and even like profit taking haddii aad ku jirtid dhinaca investor ahaan oo cabaara u soo haasay Ethereum. And lastly, Allah musta'an, what is it? Where's the other one? I mean, I mean, that's basically it, the Ethereum / BTC ratio showing some kind of a bullish momentum caseto soo noqday. If you also probably go back to Ethereum, I don't know how RSI meel u marayo ma u fiirininbo. Let me just double click. Go back here, RSI. It's testing the overbought. So overbought kiisa weli muusan u soo dhawaanin, and it's coming close to the overbought area. You can see that this overbought was very good. Fiican ayuu sameeyey. It went to the overbought territory. Wuu ka soo noqday. It's resting, but it's forming some kind of a deviation kaneeto. You want to see a good breakout kan inuu meeshaan uu ka jabsado this little some kind of maybe a rectangle ayuu ku jiraa meeshaan. This rectangle is what you want to be out of it. oo ku dhex jiro meeshaan. I mean, not too far, not too shabby. Wax yarii soo dhaafay right there. I don't care. Waxaan halaa yarii soo jabsada is nothing. Jabsado fiicana laga rabay. It's nothing. So how long is it going to spend in here? The longer the time it takes, the good. So waqti dheer ku soo qaadatay the 200 simple moving average oo soo jabsado, and it needs to hold there, which is great. You don't want to see another bahalka la yiraahdo overbought oo bahalka pricekan meeshaan uu iska fadhiyo dhaqaaqa yariisoo sameynaya, and then you have another overbought. It's shaky. waa qalqal ayuu galaya. So that's something you do not want to see. However, if you just look at waxa la yirahdo open interest, Ethereum, the ETFs or Ethereum futures, it's showing you 22 billion of open interest soo gashay, and the way to find that meesha kasoo qaadanaya that data is basically here. That you can see that the open interest of this thing has been increasing from the time or Ethereum slash BTC ratio giisa oo soo batay oo hoostaaseed oo kasoo noqonayo. I'm just talking about the Ethereum, where is it? Ethereum slash BTC ratio right here. This is what I'm talking about. When this thing pulled back or into kasoo noqday, and all these candles oo soo noqday shows the shares of liquidity, shares of Ethereum lasoo gadanaye, it's showing you an open interest to Ethereum, meaning that money is going to move from BTC. Always BTC hoos ka sii. I'm not going to fight BTC. I'm not here to fight BTC. Always BTC hoos ka sii. It's showing you interest or bahalkaneto, that of open interest of Ethereum perpetual caseto. It's increasing 18.3, probably even more than that, 22 billion. If you go back to the funding rate, funding rate ka haddii la fiirinayo, I'm not, where is it? Let me go over here. So right now, let's just look at the funding rate really quickly. Funding rate probably right now it sits at a positive. We had want people to come in and short. So they are showing the funding rate. They want to pay that short kasoo furanaya so that they can short Ethereum and actually trap you into a short and liquidate you. Yeah, waa kana they're all positive. So they positive keys in a not a lot. So the funding rate is actually positive. Waxay u faa'iideen wayaan the people that are entering the market as a short right now. So Ethereum, I mean, anywhere you go, you look at it, the open interest has been increasing. Not only do you want to see as an open interest increasing, you also want to see waxa la yiraahdo baalki xumaay, the liquidity and the shares. This is what I'm talking about when markaan ku dhaho liquidity iyo shares. I want to see a lot of shares coming in compare more than liquidity. I want to see both of them actually. Labadooda isla socdaan wax ka macmale. You have a very huge amount of liquidity coming in, meaning the price change oo bahalkan oo dhaqaaqayo ayay badinayaan when they put this much money. It could be 1 or 2 or 3, 4 people. Binance shows you almost 230 million as gashay. OKX 166. This is Ethereum USDT. Ethereum USD kaliyihiin. So Ethereum USDC, there's no data. 2.87 million OKX quarterly. So you can look at all this, that it's showing you that the interest of the longs liquidity are increasing compared to the shorts. So right now, dhinaca oo aad u fiirisid long and shortka waxa u badan long, and that's what, and the exchanges intentionally put sometimes the funding rate positive and negative. Iyaga waaye, they do that. They want people to come in and short it. And liquidation, you could go and see how many people got liquidated, the liquidation map of Yirikarta, and so forth. Ethereum, if you even just look at myself, the Ethereum news, you can see that the open interest is increasing. Ethereum today 2,700, increasing 12% gain or so RK. I mean, it's a huge gain. Probably BTC 6 to 7% عمل also some gain. I don't know Kormakai, but when we say Ethereum BTC ratio is seeing an increase, this is what they mean by it. And so the next, whatever this researcher or this website, you can see that the open interest is spiking up, saying that there's a lot of accumulation inflow and it's looking at a resistance of probably 2,800 and probably good support. I'm pretty sure 2,500 AD Donan or 2,600. Yeah, a decline below the level Ethereum, you could send it to 2,500 which is a good support. So Ethereum strengthened by rising above the 200 simple moving average. So that simple moving average, Kaseto, shows you at least some kind of a long bullish momentum, Kaseto, has come in. And this is the timestamp of, I think, the liquidity where the imbalance is, or ikujurto some gaps of CME futures. Lastly, same thing, this Ethereum price in ES3000 as Ethereum inflows and option skew turn bullish. So meaning dhinaca bullish momentum ka ay ubateen when it comes to the Ethereum coin itself. The options are increasing. Last week 7.1, over a month is 6.1. If you watched my previous video or staking and kuhai, alhamdulillah, I took my staking out. I'm getting ready to sell it. It's gonna come back down. So noqodona. Yaa lagugu xirin price ahaan qalbigaadi maskaxdaada yaa lagugu xirin 7,000 8,000. Just get to your targetkaadi ka bax. However, what is this guy telling us? However, the trading volume has dropped 6% from the previous day, blah blah. I just need his chart. This guy, like this person, I don't know who he is. He has a huge I'm just waiting this thing to upload, saying that despite suggesting Ethereum bounced cleanly from a bullish order block level historically linked with a large price rallies, resistance breaks, some projection plays the upside potential of a 400%, though near-term caution remains, which is true. And he has a structure. Whoever this chart analyst is, Twitter kisu kulling greye, he's saying he targets 10,000 and more, and the supported block for the next bear market. Big upside, 438% on the table, and the chart is telling us. I mean, I don't know what his chart is telling us. It's taking me to a Twitter. Actually, I don't want to go check on that Twitter. I don't care. And yeah, I have my target. Just level by level, inshallah. And all you're waiting for is this breakout caneto, this 4,000 breakout caseto. When is it going to happen? Nobody can tell you. This is marka ekadonto. Eventually, when it breaks out this 4,000, there's no doubt it's going to test its previous all-time high Gisa, which was like 4,800. And I'm just looking at very, very some kind of a target kega to be somewhere about here. So long fi ana kujura, and have been holding it for a couple months. Abarahaya, inshallah, and I'll keep you updated. I'll show you once I reach my target. Abara kama kana suka, but that doesn't mean behind the market trading muajoji. However, we're looking at least some pullback, trend line, break it, maybe retest it or so mayo. But this is the most critical 4,000 canet of the Ojab Solo. I have no doubt that Ethereum is going to go and test the watermarks of Tudawokun, at least also Tawanayo, this bullish momentum canet of the Ukusi Solo. The market could change. So always, like as a trader, that can say ufikiran. If you're not thinking as an investor, you adjust to the market. If you see bearish momentum, you just exit. Don't be the exit liquidity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.